Have you ever been so angry you couldn't control yourself, just because of a careless comment or a passing look? In today's fast-paced, high-pressure world, even the smallest things can tip our emotions over the edge. But what if there was a way to stay calm, unshaken, no matter what anyone says or does? Imagine this. You've had a rough morning, and then someone says something that stings. Suddenly, your whole day spirals into a storm of negative thoughts. Sound familiar? Sometimes, it only takes a single glance or offhand remark to make you feel like the entire world has turned against you. And just like that, your emotions take control. In this hectic, overwhelming world where we're constantly juggling deadlines, relationships, and responsibilities, it's incredibly easy to get swept up in irritation, stress, and even rage. But the real question is it possible to live calmly without letting others disturb our peace of mind? The answer lies in an ancient yet incredibly powerful philosophy, Stoicism. It's simple, timeless, and has helped generations find serenity in the midst of chaos. Think of philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, or Seneca. They lived through turmoil, yet remained grounded and tranquil, thanks to the wisdom of Stoicism. Today, we'll dive into 7 practical methods distilled from this philosophy. These aren't abstract theories. They're real, actionable tools you can start applying right now to gain control over your emotions and ultimately, your soul. Even using just one of these methods can have an immediate and powerful impact on your life. So stay with me. Every second counts. Let's begin with the first principle. Embrace willingness in life. One of Stoicism's core teachings is this: true peace comes from fully accepting whatever life throws at you. This doesn't mean you have to enjoy every moment or agree with every situation. It means facing them willingly, without resistance or resentment. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people whom fate brings your way, but do so with all your heart." Picture yourself doing something mundane, say, washing the dishes. If you go into it grudgingly, every dish feels like a battle. But if you approach it with willingness and even a touch of gratitude, the task becomes light, even peaceful. Epictetus puts it this way in Discourses: "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather want them to happen the way they do, and your life will go well." That's the essence of willingness. Not resisting life, but flowing with it. This mindset works even in life's toughest moments. Take traffic jams, for example. If you spend the entire ride fuming, you only increase your frustration. But what if you use that time to reflect or enjoy a podcast you love? Suddenly, stress begins to fade. Willingness helps shift your focus from what you can't control to what you can choose, your attitude. It transforms resistance into peace. Instead of letting traffic delays spiral into frustration, you can choose to use those moments to listen to a favorite podcast or simply reflect on your day. Strangely enough, the tension begins to melt away. When we willingly accept what life throws at us, stress loses its grip. Another crucial element of this mindset lies in how we define our purpose. Ask yourself, what's my vision? What kind of life am I creating? It's easy to chase short-term goals, earning money, buying things, hitting certain milestones, but these usually bring fleeting satisfaction. A greater vision, on the other hand, gives your entire life meaning. It turns every experience, good or bad, into part of a deeper personal journey. And when you have a grand vision, your actions become voluntary. You choose to do them. Think about the difference between, "I have to do this," and "I choose to do this." One feels like a burden, the other feels like freedom. Take volunteering, for instance. When you're pressured to meet a work deadline, it often feels heavy and exhausting. But when you choose to help a friend or support a cause out of goodwill, the same effort feels meaningful, even if there's no reward. The only difference is your mindset. Try applying this shift to daily life. When someone says something offensive, you have two paths. Let it control your emotions and lash out in anger, or use it as a chance to practice willing acceptance. You can remind yourself, this person is acting according to their nature, but I get to choose how I respond. Now, accepting life as it is doesn't mean giving up on bettering yourself or your situation. It means acknowledging that some things are beyond your control and focusing your energy on what is within your reach. For example, if you face criticism at work, instead of taking it personally, treat it as an opportunity to grow. Your peace of mind isn't determined by the event, it's shaped by your reaction to it. Learning to embrace willingness isn't a quick fix, it's a lifelong journey. Start small, accept your mistakes, treat setbacks as lessons, and face daily annoyances with grace. Over time, you'll build a quiet strength within, a calm resilience that allows you to live life on your own terms. Let me ask you this. How many times a day do you get irritated by someone's behavior? Maybe it's a stranger cutting in line, a coworker being too loud, or someone simply not behaving the way you expect. And before you even realize it, you're thinking, they're so annoying, or that person is completely irresponsible. Sound familiar? These quick judgments might seem harmless, but they don't just hurt others. They weigh heavily on your own soul. In Stoicism, one of the most effective ways to free yourself from anger, irritation, or resentment is to let go of judgment. As humans, we naturally view the world through our own lens. And when someone doesn't meet our expectations, we tend to slap on a label: rude, stupid, selfish. For example, if someone's driving slowly in front of you, your first thought might be, why are they so dumb? But have you ever considered that they might be a new driver? Or maybe they're being cautious because they have a child in the back seat. It's not the event that creates our emotion, it's our interpretation of it. Judging others adds an unnecessary emotional weight to our minds. It's not just a passing thought, it's often the root of our anger. Take this scenario. You have a coworker who's always late. If you assume they're lazy or careless, your frustration will grow daily. But what if instead, you considered that they might be caring for a sick relative or struggling with something deeply personal? That simple shift in perspective softens your heart, not for them, but for yourself. Now, this doesn't mean you condone their behavior. It means you protect your inner peace by choosing not to let their actions consume your emotions. Stoicism doesn't teach us to ignore problems. It teaches us to see them clearly. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. You always have the option of having no opinion. There's never any need to get worked up or trouble your soul about things you can't control. People aren't entirely good or bad. We are complex mixtures of actions shaped by our circumstances, emotions, and understanding. Think back to a time when you weren't at your best. Maybe you were tired, stressed, or just having a really rough day. Others are no different. Imagine sitting in a restaurant and the server accidentally spills water all over your table. Your first instinct might be to snap, "How careless!" But what if you paused and thought, maybe they're having a really hard day? That one pause can lift a heavy burden from your chest. That's the power of releasing judgment. It frees you from emotional discomfort and opens space for deeper empathy. You can still recognize what's right and wrong without letting negativity flood your mind. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. In other words, the most powerful response to harm is not anger, but maintaining your composure and dignity. So how do we practice non-judgment? The first step is awareness. Every time you catch yourself labeling someone, ask, is this thought necessary? Is it helping me in any way? Then try to shift your perspective. Put yourself in their shoes. Ask, what might they be going through that I don't know about? Finally, remind yourself that everyone is different, and that's what makes life rich and interesting. Someone being different from you doesn't make them wrong, and it's certainly not worth draining your emotional energy. Letting go of judgment means letting go of emotional baggage. It's about freeing yourself from the exhausting weight of overreacting. The next time someone irritates you, pause, take a deep breath, and ask, is this feeling really worth holding on to? You'll find that when you view situations with empathy and understanding, you're not just kinder to others, you're also gentler with yourself. In the end, ask yourself this: do I want to cling to anger, or do I want to live a life of peace and freedom? The choice is yours, always. Instead of trying to change what's beyond your reach, you can choose something far more powerful: your mindset and your response. You can choose to get upset, or you can take a deep breath and remind yourself, some things are simply out of my hands. It may sound simple, but letting go of the need to control can truly transform your life. Imagine a mother constantly worrying about her child's grades. She might push and stress herself out, but she can't take the tests for them or force success. Or think of an employee frustrated by a boss's unreasonable decisions. No matter how much they resist, they can't control their boss's thoughts or behavior. Negative emotions often arise when we set high expectations for things beyond our power. And when reality doesn't meet those expectations, disappointment floods in. I once knew a passionate young entrepreneur. He spent years building a tech company, dreaming of revolutionizing the industry. But when the product finally launched, the market response was underwhelming. He felt bitter and discouraged, blaming customers for not getting it, suspecting competitors of sabotage. These thoughts trapped him in helplessness and frustration. During one of our conversations, I gently suggested, what if you stopped focusing on what's out of your hands and started looking at what you can improve? That single shift in mindset opened a whole new perspective. He stopped blaming others, refined his product, adjusted his strategy, and embraced the patience that real success demands. And when he finally let go of what he couldn't control, he felt lighter, more creative, and ultimately achieved more than he expected. Stoicism doesn't just reshape how we see challenges. It gives us a set of guiding questions in moments of stress. Is this within my control? Am I wasting energy on something I can't change? Is my reaction helping the situation or making it worse? These simple reflections can be powerful tools to break free from negativity. Letting go of control doesn't mean surrendering or giving up. On the contrary, it means focusing on the one thing you can always influence: your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. Imagine rowing a boat on a fast-moving river. You can't stop the current, but you can steer your boat. That's how life works too. A practical Stoic technique is premeditatio malorum, premeditation on adversity. Before you begin your day, take a moment to consider what might go wrong. Cancelled plans, mistakes at work, bad weather. Preparing your mind makes these challenges easier to face when they come. In the end, remember, letting go isn't weakness, it's liberation. When you stop clinging to what's beyond your reach, it's as if your mind is finally untied, free to focus on what truly matters. In life, frustration is inevitable. Sooner or later, someone will disappoint us. A friend forgets a promise. A coworker misses a deadline. A family member says something careless or hurtful. And in those moments, the irritation rises fast. But ask yourself this: why do we expect perfection? From people, from circumstances, even from life itself. According to Stoicism, expecting perfection is a dangerous illusion. And the more we cling to that illusion, the more we suffer. The truth is, imperfection is the natural state of the world. Embracing that truth is the first step to freeing yourself from the emotional turbulence caused by others. Think back. Have you ever worked hard on something, only to see it derailed because someone else didn't follow through? Maybe you poured your energy into a big presentation. Everything was carefully planned. But at the last moment, a colleague responsible for the support materials made a mistake. Your first thought might be, how could they be so careless when I put in so much effort? That frustration. It's normal. But through the lens of Stoicism, you'll see something deeper. You cannot control their error, but you can control your response. Blaming them only magnifies the stress. Instead, ask yourself, what can I do now to recover or improve the situation? By accepting imperfection, you don't just stay calm, you become more effective at finding solutions. As Epictetus once said, it is not events that disturb people, but their judgments about those events. The world doesn't have to change for you to find peace. What needs to change is how you see it. Marcus Aurelius offered a simple yet profound daily practice. Begin each day by telling yourself, today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness. All of them due to the offender's ignorance of what is good or evil. This isn't pessimism, it's practical wisdom. By expecting imperfection from the start, you won't be thrown off when it shows up. Instead, you'll face it with grace. Imagine waking up already prepared to meet flaws, mistakes, rudeness. Not in a cynical way, but with calm awareness. When you understand that life isn't supposed to be flawless, you stop being disappointed when it isn't. In everyday life, embracing imperfection can completely transform how you react to difficult moments. When someone breaks a promise, your instinct may be to feel angry or betrayed. But what if you paused and reminded yourself, they're human too. Maybe they're carrying a burden I can't see. If you feel misunderstood, instead of leaping to conclusions or retreating into hurt, try staying calm. Seek clarity. It's possible the person didn't intend to hurt you at all. They might have simply failed to understand your perspective. And when someone is rude or critical, take a step back and ask, does this truly harm me? Or is it my interpretation that's creating the pain? Accepting imperfection doesn't mean you stop growing or improving. On the contrary, it frees you. When you no longer demand that others behave a certain way, you let go of constant disappointment and start focusing on what really matters. Take relationships, for example. We often expect our partner to understand us completely, to read our emotions, to know what we need without saying it. But the truth is, even those who love us most can't always read our minds. Instead of blaming them, try asking, can I communicate more clearly to help us understand each other better? This simple shift not only dissolves dissatisfaction, it builds empathy. When you truly accept the flaws of life, something surprising happens. You start finding beauty in them. A coworker who makes mistakes, a friend who forgets to check in, even a stranger who's short-tempered, all become opportunities to practice patience, compassion, and self-awareness. Ask yourself, have I ever made a mistake? If I want forgiveness, why wouldn't I offer the same? This gentle reflection reminds us that everyone, including you, is doing the best they can with what they know. Seneca once wrote, "He who is brave is free." The courage to face life's imperfections isn't just kindness, it's the path to inner liberation. Life doesn't need to be perfect for you to be happy. When you stop expecting perfection, you also stop handing your peace over to anger, resentment, or disappointment. Marcus Aurelius said it best, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And when you fill your mind with understanding instead of expectations, you'll find peace, even in chaos. This isn't about settling for less. It's the art of living with grace. It's one thing to accept that the outside world is messy and flawed, but the deeper challenge is this. Can you control your inner world even when everything outside of you feels out of control? This leads us to a powerful, almost uncomfortable question. Who is responsible for your emotions, you or the world around you? Stoicism invites us to sit with that question. It doesn't offer easy answers, but it does give us clarity. Imagine this. You're standing in a long supermarket line on a hectic weekend. Everyone seems impatient. The atmosphere is tense. Suddenly, someone cuts right in front of you. No apology, not even a glance. Your gut reaction, irritation, maybe even rage. You feel disrespected, invisible. The urge to snap back, mutter under your breath, or stew in anger is immediate. But there's another path. You can pause. Take a breath and ask yourself, is this person's action truly worth sacrificing my peace? Yes, they were rude. Yes, it was unfair. But your emotions? Those belong to you. Why let a stranger's behavior decide how you'll feel for the next hour or the rest of your day? If you choose calmness, something remarkable happens. The irritation fades. That person might still be clueless about their behavior, but their power over your emotions dissolves. The line may be a few minutes longer, but your inner world stays steady. What could have been a spark for a downward spiral becomes just another small moment in your day. That's the power of emotional ownership. And yet, in our daily lives, we often hand over that power without even noticing. Someone insults us, and we feel wounded. Someone criticizes us, and we get defensive. Someone ignores us, and we spiral into anger or sadness. But ask yourself, why? Why should someone else's opinion or lack of awareness have the authority to shake your inner peace? Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and emperor of Rome, said it simply but profoundly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. His words hold a timeless truth. While we cannot control the actions of others, we can always choose how to respond. Think of a time you were unfairly criticized at work. Maybe it felt like a punch to the gut. Anger, resentment, self-doubt. These emotions rose quickly. But what if, instead of letting those feelings take over, you paused and reminded yourself, my worth isn't defined by someone else's opinion. That moment of pause can change everything. It reframes the experience and frees you from the grip of someone else's judgment. So often, the difference between peace and chaos is just a few seconds. The next time something triggers you, whether it's an insult, a thoughtless comment, or an unexpected interruption, ask yourself, is this really worth losing my peace over? That brief pause creates something valuable, a moment of space between the trigger and your response. In that space, you get to make a choice. Will you react impulsively or respond with intention? Will you choose calm over chaos? And if you're looking for a deeper way to build this habit, consider a practice rooted in Stoic tradition. Keep a journal of your emotions. Each evening, take just a few minutes to reflect on your day. What upset you today? How did you respond? Could you have handled it differently? Over time, this simple ritual helps you uncover emotional patterns, understand your triggers, and strengthen your discipline. It turns reflection into a habit and gradually builds the resilience needed to master your feelings in the moment. Because here's the truth: no one can make you angry or upset unless you allow them to. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Your emotions belong to you, not to the people who criticize you, not to the stranger who cuts in line, not even to the chaos around you. When you protect your peace, you reclaim your power. And when you understand that your mind is your responsibility, nothing outside of you can truly shake your spirit." So, does this way of thinking resonate with you? If it does, I invite you to reflect, comment, or share your thoughts with others. And even if your perspective is different, sharing it might lead to a conversation that benefits everyone. This is a journey we're all on, growing, learning, becoming more grounded every day. And now, let's take this one step further. Because even when we pause, even when we reflect, life still throws unexpected moments at us. A colleague criticizes you during a meeting. A stranger cuts in line after you've been waiting patiently. Someone hurls a sharp comment your way, leaving you offended and shaken. These moments may seem small, but they carry the power to wreck your mood. So how do we stay calm in the face of disrespect or surprise? The answer lies in one of Stoicism's most powerful lessons. Practice non-reaction. Imagine you're in a meeting. You've been working hard, preparing your ideas, and just as you begin to speak, a colleague interrupts you with harsh criticism. It feels like a slap, sudden, sharp, and public. Your first impulse? Defend yourself, snap back, prove them wrong. But what if you didn't? What if instead you looked at them calmly and responded with poise? "Thanks for the feedback. I'll address that once I finish presenting my thoughts." That single moment of restraint speaks volumes. You've just chosen composure over conflict, confidence over chaos. You've held your ground, but with dignity. By not reacting emotionally, you not only preserve your inner calm, you also gain control over the situation. Your colleague, expecting confrontation, is now disarmed by your stillness. And you? You walk out of that meeting not just respected, but at peace with yourself. Seneca once said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." And he was right. One of the most powerful ways to master non-reaction is to pause intentionally before responding. When you feel insulted or provoked, resist the urge to fire back. Take a breath, give it space. For example, a co-worker sends you a passive-aggressive email. Instead of replying in the heat of the moment, wait, maybe an hour, maybe a full day. That delay gives you a gift, clarity. Now your response can be thoughtful, measured, not emotional. Sometimes the most powerful response is silence. Choosing not to react doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. It shows you are no longer handing the reins of your emotions to someone else. You are in control. There's an old saying, if a donkey kicks you and you kick back, you're both donkeys. Harsh, maybe, but true. Reacting to negativity with more negativity doesn't elevate you. It brings you down to the same level. Picture a heated argument where each word is fuel to the fire. Now imagine if, instead of escalating, one person simply stops, says nothing, refuses to feed the flames. The fire fizzles out, and the one who chose stillness, that person walks away not only calm, but victorious, having mastered themselves. Take a moment to reflect. When was the last time you lost your temper over something small? Was that moment of anger worth giving up your peace? If you could go back, would you choose a different response? These questions don't just invite you to look inward, they help you grow. Every time you practice non-reaction, you strengthen your emotional discipline. Marcus Aurelius put it beautifully. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Recognizing that you control your reactions is one of the most empowering truths you can live by. After mastering the art of non-reaction, you begin to navigate life with greater calm and clarity. But don't mistake non-reaction for passivity. It's not about accepting everything without care. It's about wisely choosing where to place your attention and what deserves your emotional energy. And when you make that choice with intention, something remarkable happens. You don't just protect your peace, you create space for something even more beautiful. Welcome to the final principle. Find joy in selflessness. As we learn to remain calm and avoid reacting impulsively to life's chaos, a subtle transformation begins. The things that once triggered us, rude comments, broken expectations, everyday frustrations, begin to feel like nothing more than tiny ripples on the surface of a much deeper stream. And as those disturbances fade, our hearts begin to lighten. Resentment melts away. Frustration loses its grip, and in its place, a gentle spaciousness arises, a space to love, to understand, and to give. In this newfound clarity, we uncover one of Stoicism's most powerful yet tender insights. Sometimes, the best way to protect your peace is to forgive, not for them, for you. This isn't weakness. It's strength in its most profound form, a quiet kind of power. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." What a gentle reminder. Each morning isn't just a new day, it's a new opportunity to love more freely, to help more willingly, to live with a heart just a little more open than it was yesterday. Forgiveness, in the eyes of Marcus Aurelius, is not a distant ideal. It's a natural extension of gratitude. When we help others, we don't just lift them, we lift ourselves. Let me share a simple story. I once had a friend working in a high-pressure corporate environment. He was smart, diligent, but often the target of unfair criticism. Colleagues would belittle his work, sometimes without cause. But instead of reacting with anger, he did something different. He paused, he listened, and he asked himself, could they be going through something I don't see? Weeks later, he discovered that one of his harshest critics was struggling financially, under incredible stress at home. That knowledge changed everything. He didn't retaliate. He didn't fight back. Instead, he offered kindness, support, quiet understanding. The result? Their relationship began to heal. And even more remarkably, the entire team atmosphere became more compassionate, less tense. This same principle applies at home. Think of a family member who constantly criticizes you. No matter what you do, it never seems to be enough. It's frustrating, even painful. But what if, instead of reacting, you paused and asked, what might they be carrying that I can't see? Yes, their words may sting, their actions may feel unfair. But here's a quiet truth. Most criticism doesn't come from clarity, it comes from someone else's pain. When you begin to understand this, something powerful happens. The anger loses its grip. Choosing forgiveness doesn't mean you're agreeing with the wrong. It means you're refusing to let it take up space in your heart. Anger often comes from expectation. We expect others to treat us a certain way, act a certain way, meet our standards of what's right. But life isn't a script, and people don't always behave the way we hope. Everyone you meet is carrying something unseen. And when you truly recognize this, expectations soften. And without them, anger has nowhere to root itself. The beauty of forgiveness is that it doesn't just quiet the storm inside you. It brings something else, a kind of joy. Not the loud kind, but a deep, warm, peaceful kind. The joy of doing something kind for someone without needing anything in return. Can you remember a moment when you helped someone just because you could? No reward, no recognition, just the simple act of giving. How did it feel? Probably light, liberating, right? Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And he was right. Practicing forgiveness is more than an act of generosity. It's a practice of reclaiming control over your emotions. It's spiritual freedom, a freedom no amount of success, wealth, or achievement can offer. And it's not just ancient wisdom. Modern research agrees. People who regularly engage in selfless acts, even small ones, report higher levels of happiness, lower stress, and deeper meaning in their lives. Forgiveness isn't just a virtue, it's a path to a fuller life. So here's something to ask yourself. Can I see this from their perspective? What might be driving their behavior that I don't know about? Asking these questions won't always erase the discomfort, but it makes it softer, easier, and with time, it becomes a habit of the heart. Sometimes forgiveness isn't grand or dramatic. It's as simple as choosing patience instead of snapping back. It's quietly letting go instead of needing to be right. It's choosing to improve yourself instead of controlling others. And when you do offer kindness, cherish the moment. Be grateful that you had the strength to respond with heart instead of ego. Seneca put it beautifully. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Wherever you are in life, there's always a choice to show compassion. So choose forgiveness, not just for the other person, but for yourself. Because in giving, in understanding, in holding your peace, you're building a better world, not just around you, but within you. We've now explored 7 timeless Stoic principles that help you preserve your peace and stay grounded, even when the world around you feels overwhelming. These aren't abstract ideas. They are tools, anchors, compasses pointing you toward emotional freedom. Embrace acceptance, let go of judgment, release control, welcome imperfection, take responsibility for your emotions, practice non-reaction, and finally, find joy in selfless compassion. Each step is a practice. Together, they form a way of life, a way to remain calm, centered, and connected no matter what life brings your way. If this video resonated with you, take a second to like it. It really does help us share these ideas with more people. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Whether you agree or see things differently, your perspective matters. You might even inspire someone else. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss upcoming videos on living more mindfully, powerfully, and peacefully. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing calm, and I'll see you in the next video.